Okay, Papa Bravo here. Another fun gun review talking about the Smith & Wesson M&P Series 9 Shield. This is a subcompact model designed for everyday carry. And we're going to talk about the basics of the weapon first of all. It is a subcompact, as I mentioned. It is designed for either 8+1 or 7+1. This is the 8+1 magazine here. A little safety check. Give you an idea what that looks like. For my rather large hands, it fits really well. It is a striker-fired weapon. Of course, the M&P type ergonomics are all over the weapon. We have the scalloped serrations for the slide. We have the typical M&P slide release is here. This is a takedown lever and then a safety. The mag release is right here. And that is the only thing on this that is reversible. You notice on the, what would be the for left hand of the strong side, there's no magazine release, there's no safety or anything. This is really designed for a right-hander. It could be done with a left-hander, but a little more awkward. As you notice, the safety is a really slim safety. It's just a sweep to get it down. This does have a 3.5-inch barrel, 3.1-inch barrel, excuse me, 3-dot sighting system. Its overall length is 6.1 inches. It is just shy of 1 inch wide. You can see it's really narrow. And an overall height of 4 inches with the regular standard size magazine in it. This adds about another, ½ inch or so. It is a polymer framed, excuse me, a polymer framed weapon. And it is a stainless steel melanite coated slide. The primary use of this is a concealed carry. That's what it's designed for. And that's what I use it for, concealed carry. This one is chambered in 9mm. They do make a .40 caliber in the same basic dimensions. I find this to be very accurate. Only shot it a couple times, but I, like I say, do carry it every day, so it's not something I take to the range every day to shoot. However, the times I did shoot it, it was pretty accurate. These are really easy to maintain. As you know, the typical Smith & Wesson, you're going to pull a slide back. You're going to activate the takedown lever. Okay. Some of the models, they have a little pin you have to pull down. This one is the type you can just release that, pull a trigger, and the slide comes right off. Again, being a striker-fired weapon, it's very simple to clean. Parts are easy. You can see striker-fired, safe in there. This is the heaviest part of the weapon right here. Typical drop barrel and a double captured spring. The trigger on these is really nice. It's actually nicer than the original M&Ps. They've actually tightened up the entire system. This is a 6-pound release, but it doesn't feel that bad when you're actually shooting it. Go ahead and reassemble. Well, I think I'm going to reassemble it. There we go. And it simply slides back on. That back up, and we're good to go again. As far as the add-ons and stuff, before Smith & Wesson came out with this pistol, they gave the dimensions and sizes to several holster manufacturers. Galco, they all have holsters for them, so you can find almost any style of holster either outside the waistband or inside the waistband. I decided to go with a PJ holsters. These were reviewed by Phala Photography, and I really liked the way they looked, the styling, and the fact that they were so thin, and they really do hold the weapon well. You see they go in pretty tight. This is a tuckable model, so you can get your shirt in between your pants there. I mean, it holds it pretty good. I mean, I was well pleased with how the holding power on these holsters, and they don't feel bad when you're wearing them. I mean, it covers most of the sharp edges. You don't feel much on your skin while you're wearing it. So I was very, very pleased with that. All the laser manufacturers, Crimson Trace, Laser Sight, Laser Max, they all have a add-on laser for these. They go on the front here and become part of the trigger housing, and they're activated by simply touching a point here, and they come on, and you're able to use it as a laser sight. The basic weapon depends on which state you're in, but they go from $449 to about $469 retail. That's the manufacturer's list. You could probably pick one up for about $400. Should be able to anyway. So as far as value for your money, these are really, really good. Again, the ease of use of these are very simple to use. They're all striker fired like the rest of the M&P line. So as far as that goes, they've been very, very well received by everybody. I did want to do some comparisons to show you what this is compared to as far as size. I have the M&P 9C, which I'll safety check for you. And empty clip. Magazine, sorry. Those clip people out there. Always trying to catch me doing that. As you can see, it's a much wider weapon. It is 1.2 inches wide versus the just under 1 inch wide. You really get a good comparison of the overall size of these two as far as how they're designed. The 9C is a little bit longer. It is 6.7 inches long versus the 6.1 inches of the Shield. So it's a little bit longer. Has a longer barrel. This one has a 3.5 inch barrel versus the 3.1. Basically same sighting system, same ergonomics as far as the controls go. The only difference, the 9C does not come with a manual safety. The 9C does come in a for California, it's a 10+1. For most other states, it's 12+1. So you do get a lot more rounds than the 8+1 you do in the Shield. But as far as the overall weight and the carry capabilities, the 9C empty is 21.3 ounces. The Shield is 19 ounces. So you're going to save those approximately 2 to 3 ounces just in the weight of the slide alone, plus the ammo that you're going to extra ammo to carry. So it really does weigh you down. I originally bought this for the concealed carry, but and it is a very nice shooting gun. I mean, both these shoot very well. But but I just got tired of carrying that much weight around. In my environment where I work, it's much slimmer to carry this, or easy to carry this around than it is with this one. So that's the first comparison I'm going to make. Next comparison is going to be with the Ruger LC9, which I previously have reviewed. We're going to look at the overalls of these. They're both all three polymer based and have stainless steel or steel slides. I do like the overall ergonomics of this Shield better than the LC9, just in the way it functions, the way it works. So we'll go to compare those. As we mentioned before, the LC9, they're very, very close. This is 6 inches long versus 6.1. The width is just short of an inch here and just short of that for the LC9. So you can really see the comparison of the two as far as overall length. But they are very, very close in size. I mean, both manufacturers have come up with two very, very concealable, great little handguns. Now with the magazine on the LC9, and I didn't safety check, but I will do that. You can see how the overall length of these is pretty darn close. Now we'll get into some of the differences in the way these are manufactured. Again, the Shield is a striker fired, all internal. The LC9 is a hammer fired weapon and has a totally different trigger system than the Shield does. The LC9 has again, we're safety check, has a very, very long throw, which is designed into this particular weapon, designed in here because they felt that most situations you're going to use this is very high stress, and your fine motor skills go to hell in a handbasket. So they want to have a weapon that you really wanted to shoot rather than just something that would go off on you. So I want you to notice the long trigger pull on this. That's why they have the extended shroud here, trigger guard, is because this is a very long pull on this weapon. See all the take up in it, and notice it is hammer fired here, so it'll kind of get you see both sides of that, and you can see how the hammer works, and bang. Now we'll reset that, and as you release, you're going to hear 2 clicks. There's one, and there's the actual reset right there. Now, for those of us used to a standard striker-fired weapon, that double-click thing it's a lot. Now, again, under high stress, you're never going to notice that. Because you're going to be fully activating the weapon and pulling it like that. But in slow fire or target practice, it's very disconcerting to do that. But again, you can see the hammer coming back and firing, and as you reset, there's your reset. Okay. Now on the Shield, again, we're showing empty here. The reset in this and the trigger pull is very, very different. It's more like the traditional M&Ps, that it has the articulated trigger. That's your safety device, so you have to have that pulled before you can pull the entire, otherwise it just stops. Okay. So the articulated trigger is your internal safety. You can see how it has the safety in there. So when you pull this one, you can see the take up is about to there where it gets some tension, and then the release. And as there's your reset. Okay, so you get an idea of what the reset looks like on that versus the LC9, which again has that long pull, and it's about a 8-pound hammer. I mean, it's a tough pull. If you're buying these for your wife or your significant other, it's going to take some getting used to. But the best way to train on these, if you're having this one, is to do it under stress, so they get an idea what the stress is, or put them under time pressure or something like that. But again, you can see that reset. There's the reset. Again, see how far that reset is versus this one that has the reset that throw. So as far as a target shooting or everyday shooting, I would really prefer this one over the LC9, just because it's more traditional to what I'm used to shooting. For a new shooter or a person who hasn't done a lot of shooting, especially with semi-automatics, you're really going to notice a difference in the way the trigger works. You really won't notice that, but you will have time to train on this. You will not have that problem. What I did with my wife is I trained her to draw and fire the weapon in a certain amount of time. And I had one of those beeper timer things, and setting her up with a shorter amount of time, I was having her safely draw the weapon, get on target, finger, trigger, bang, and it really helped her to get used to shooting that longer trigger pull. Again, it's about 8 pounds, so it's pretty tough. So there's your comparison between the three. You have the Shield, the new Shield, that actually has a better trigger that I think than the M&P, the 9C does. This has a little tougher trigger and doesn't quite reset a little shorter, but this one feels like it's a little heavier than this, but that's just me, you know. So you'll just have to get used to that. But as far as what I can tell, the 9C is a good weapon if you have the ability to carry a little heavier weapon with more rounds. The Shield is the best option if you have like close-fitting clothes and you have an inside the waistband holster that you can put it in. That really is a slim holster. I mean, see, it doesn't hardly add anything to the overall width of that particular weapon. I mean, it's a perfect fit. Again, Phelan Photography did a great review of all the holsters that he has available. He also makes a J-hook. He makes a standard clip. He makes a heavier clip. You can get him canted any angle. This one's about 15 degrees. From the standard one's 10. He can make up to 30 degrees, which is a pretty good cant. But this to me is really comfortable, and it really sits off my hip really well. So that's it. We're still waiting on a track record of these. They've sold a lot of units so far. I think they're going to be very successful handgun, very successful for open carry. The Ruger's been the LC9 has been very successful. This model, the 9C, again, a little heavy, but it reminds me a lot of the Glock series that has the double stack magazine. So for a single stack, though, I think these are two great choices. I really like this one. This is my personal carry here. My wife carries the LC9, but I think I like this one a lot better. So there it is, the comparison between the Shield, the M&P Shield, the M&P 9C, and the Ruger LC9. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, please. I can do more on these. I can do maybe I'll have some shooting for this one. I'll put in the video here. But if you have any comments, please leave them below here. And if you like what I'm doing, go ahead and subscribe up there, and I sure appreciate it. So be safe out there, and Papa Bravo out.